And we're back.
And we're back.
Welcome back to the Cavalry, everybody. We have a great guest. Let's just introduce her right now. She's
Jumping
so
right
funny.
in.
We're
Hi.
jumping right in.
Hi, guys.
It's,
Hi.
Kristin
I'm
Key,
great.
the hilarious Kristin Key. How are you doing?
Kristin Key.
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be on this podcast. I keep seeing it on my Facebook pages. They keep popping up, and it looks so good. So this will be the one I listen to.
This is how we're gonna grow the base. And once we have 200 million Americans on this podcast, we will be the biggest one in the country because they'll all
Oh my
listen.
God. Yeah. We're gonna go one at a time.
Yeah, this is we were just complimenting you on your good audio setup because, you know, as regular listeners know, with a guest, it can be a grab bag for their audio. So we're not in studio, obviously, so everyone's got their own personal studio, but you have good virtual, you know, shows and podcasts and stuff, so you've got the gear.
Thanks. Yeah, I was asked to do some Zoom shows when I was in a military base quarantine off a cruise ship. And so right at the very beginning of all this, some people asked, you know, if I would do them. And I noticed right away if I could do it again. Like if this pandemic thing lasts any longer, I would get this and this and this. And then I just went ahead and got it all.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You were right. It lasted longer.
Yeah.
Yes,
It wasn't a fad like my dad thought.
No, it kept going, and it
Sure did.
continues to go. But
Mm-hmm.
well, that's great. What are you drinking? You got some beverage there.
Well, thank you
Looks
for asking.
nice.
What a great question. I'm sorry. It's like when people say that on my
We've
podcast.
been doing it a
Wow,
while.
what a great question. I'm like, is it? I
It
just
was
thought
not
of
a-
it. This
was
is
not a good
peppermint
question.
tea. Yeah, it's peppermint tea because
Oh yeah, you're a big tea person.
I drink
remember
tea
that.
all day, but it's after dinner time. So if I ever make a cup of tea after dinner, my wife always says, "At this hour?" Because I don't drink anymore. I don't like smoke weed or anything. So my tea is like my party. And so
Yeah.
if I have a tea after 8 p.m. or something, she's like, "What the hell are you doing, you crazy party machine?" So I'm having peppermint tea. I don't give a shit.
Well, let me ask, how long have you been a tea head?
I think I quit coffee like 7 or 8 years ago. And it was like one of the first things to go. I switched over to black tea. My wife she's a TV producer, and she'd been doing this reality TV show in England, and came home with some tea, and I tried it, and I was like, I think this could replace coffee. And then I really thought that coffee had been what was like, I had an upset stomach for like 15 years, and I thought it was coffee. It turns out that I'm an alcoholic. But who knew? You take one thing out at a time until you find that.
Wait. This is good. You quit coffee before alcohol?
Alcohol was
gotta
the
be-
last to go.
It's the last
Like
thing you
apparently I
tried.
was kind of hanging on to it. I might like
Just in
I might
denial.
like
It can't
it.
be that. It
Yeah.
can't be
No,
that.
no, no.
It's a
I might
coffee
be
hangover.
allergic to ibuprofen or something. I keep
I
having
thought I
these
had-
horrible headaches in the morning.
I thought I had IBS, you know, and but I didn't, like, even though I'm like blacking out, I'm like, I don't know what happened last night, but I got to talk to the doctor about IBS. Like, there were times when I had to like drink Youre just to keep calories in because I drank so much I couldn't eat. But no, it's not the booze. Maybe it's coffee.
Maybe it's coffee. Yeah. And then that's tough. That's funny. And you kept it up though, because then there's like a stereotype about alcoholics. Like at AA meetings, everyone's like pounding coffee. So then that's
Right.
like extra tough.
And you can always tell where like the ex-meth heads were, because they always have like a 5-hour energy, like, or like they have the big giant
The
monsters. You're like,
monster.
meth, yeah, like, you know.
Yeah. At the NA meetings, the big urn is just filled with Monster Energy drink and Diet Rockstar or something.
And what is that one? Nas? Is that the new one?
Oh yeah, the
full on
NOS.
Sounded like my mom yesterday. I was visiting my family in Kansas, and I came out. I was like, everybody was drinking these. I don't know, NOXs. No. I was like Nas, and I'm like, oh man, I sound like my mom, don't I? Yeah.
I also like that the way you got introduced to tea was that your wife brought it back from England, as if it's this thing you can only get in England. Tea is, I think tea has made the journey over here. Tea is available.
Never heard of it. But if it's on a plane from England, but she brought me like some good stuff. Like one of them was
But the
called
good stuff
the
is
Queen's
over there.
Blend, and I was like, I want to drink with the if I'm drinking tea, I want it to be like that with the Queen's drinking. I don't want this Bigelow shit. And then it was very good.
Because tea's healthy, right? Or is there any unhealthy tea or no?
I think if you put bourbon in it, it might get like unhealthy. I think it's pretty healthy.
No,
I
it's
think
the
green
tea.
is real good for you.
That's like my bourbon and tea. What's making me sick? I gotta get this
the
tea out of my bourbon.
Maybe maybe just straight hot bourbon, I'll be okay. I bet you'd be fine if you drink a hot bourbon every day. You'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually supposed to be good for you, I guess.
I think so. I think it's
Like
it's good
wine.
for something. Yeah, yeah. I bet there's an old lady that's like, I've had a hot cup of bourbon every day, and I'm 97.
I know, but those things are so. I love that they're like. There's always some 102-year-old guy, and they're like, "What's your secret?" And he's like, "I eat bacon and do meth, and and it's like, okay, that worked for you. But there's a lot of dead people who ate a lot of bacon too.
But it wasn't the meth. It was probably the bacon.
Yeah, it wasn't the meth, but you know what I mean. These guys, I hate those stories. They never interview somebody 106 and they're like, oh, I just worked out a lot and didn't eat red meat and
Healthy
drank
living.
tea and didn't drink and
They die
no,
early.
but that story
Yeah.
doesn't get in the New York Post. You know what I mean? They don't print that because that's not
No.
interesting to anybody.
Nope.
That's my hot take.
Nice hot take. I like it. Yeah,
Thank you.
controversial. Yeah.
I'm coming
Yeah.
out swinging today.
Andrew's
Feeling
going to get us
feisty.
canceled.
No, if I brought my audience, we have a lot of older listeners, and so they're going to be like, I don't know. I drink a cup of bourbon, and I'm not in the greatest shape. But
So have you really, because we talked about that before when we worked together, but that you've gravitated to this kind of older person lifestyle where you like to crochet.
I do crochet.
Knit, I always get that wrong, but
You got it
knitting and
right
crochet
today.
is-
Yeah,
got
I
it
do
right.
a
Okay.
crochet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like to
Did you ever send
crochet.
Kristin the picture of when we were doing the show? We were doing a Zoom show together, and there's someone in the square next to Andrew not paying it to just crocheting while he's doing his set. And I took a picture with my phone of the screen.
I think I forgot.
I bet
Did
I
I
know
send
them.
that to you?
Yeah, I bet I know them. I think you did. And I think I know them, and
Oh wow.
they were paying attention. Because I'll do that and I'll forget my camera's on. Like if I'm doing a show where there's a lot of comics and I don't go up till later, I'll just be crocheting away, and I'm like, shit, I should turn my camera off so no one can see it. Because I'm paying attention. I'm just busy. I've got my side business right now. I made a joke on a Zoom show a while ago about it was about I was making a dog bone for my sister-in-law, and I was halfway through it, and she was like, I don't want that. And I'm like, oh, it's for your dog. It's gonna be real cute. She goes, it looks like a penis. I'm like, oh, because it's half a dog bone. I get it, but it's gonna be a dog bone. She goes, well, right now it looks like a penis. I don't want it. I'm like, I'm making this like with love for your dog, and I was like, screw this. So then I made a penis. I crocheted a penis so she would see this is what a penis looks like, and this is what a dog bone looks like. And then I found like someone online was like, I would buy that penis. You should sell that penis. And I was like, I like money. So I looked online how much you could sell crocheted penises for, and that's when this gets weird. There were all these people with like crocheted wiener shops on Etsy, and one of them was called Nasty Grandma. And so I sang a song. I made a song about it, and now I have an Etsy shop with Nasty Grandma's handmade wangs. And so now like any chance I get, I'm having to like crochet penises like a mad woman to try to keep up with orders, and it's really gotten out of hand.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Oh my god. The I don't even know where to begin, but
The tip.
I sell bumper stickers that are wieners, and they say who rescued who, and I hold it so they think it's a dog bone because I hold it halfway, and I'm like, yeah, if you want to buy these who's rescued Hughes stickers, and then I turn it around and it's just it's a dick. So I
See?
totally understand.
You
No,
get
but
it. Johnny
get
Beater
it.
gets it.
Johnny
Yeah.
Beaner does get it, but also I feel like that is the way the successful merch for we've talked about merch a lot on the podcast lately, but the successful merch for comics gets made when you are doing it as a joke that you think nobody could possibly actually want, and then the people speak and they go, no, that's what we want. We want the stupid thing that you thought was so stupid nobody would want it. That's what we don't want. The creative thing that you thought was funny that goes on the t-shirt. We want the dumb hairy,
We want the
Johnny's
dick.
hairy balls
want the dick.
t-shirt. Your
I put
crochet
squeakers
dick.
Yeah, I put squeakers
Put
in the
squeakers
balls.
in the
so that's,
balls.
Yeah, it helps. I was like, what are people gonna do with a crocheted penis? And then they send me pictures now of like one of them, like their cat has like it's like its best friend, and I'm like, that's adorable. Like, so now I've
Yeah.
I think I've made the world a better place.
Sounds like it. I agree.
I think so. Yeah. Who could argue?
Yeah,
No,
not that lady.
Not that lady
Really
anyway.
not.
But so what I was trying to ask was that you've actually, because you said you have like some older listeners or older fans, so you've actually have you brought in older fans now because of your old person lifestyle with the tea and the crocheting and the,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And I don't know what happened. It's like, I don't think they had I don't know, they say it takes a certain amount of time to find your voice on stage as a comedian. So I don't think I knew who I was for a long time, but I came out of the closet late, like 35. And when I came out of the closet, I started talking about a little bit about being gay, but then a lot about other stuff that I'd been like hiding because I thought that went with being gay. Like, oh, I can't talk about crocheting because that's probably gay, and I can't talk about like all kinds of other stuff. And so once I opened one door, it all like I was like, I'm just gonna talk about all the stuff that I like to talk about and make the jokes that I make, and I make jokes about my spouse a lot, about my wife, and somehow all of this is really relatable to like 45 and up. And so I've always thought I was cool or hip, and it turns out I am not. But
I will say that crocheting isn't gay in and of itself, but when you're crocheting, for you to crochet penises, it's like the least gay thing you could possibly. It's like you're covering, or it's like you're trying to not be gay.
They'll never see that coming. Yeah.
I know how I'll make crocheting not gay. I'll crochet some cocks.
That's right. I'll circumcise these bad boys. I'm gonna make them awesome. But no, and I found like I'll work on cruise ships, and I always think when I get on the ship, I'm like, they are gonna hate me because I just assume that, like, with my haircut and general me-ness, it's just gonna be like, nope, we don't want to listen to her. Boo, Ellen. And it turns out, like, instead, like, afterwards, there's usually like, on every cruise ship, there's like a knitting circle on like at 9:30 in the morning on a Wednesday, and so I'm always there with them. And so I play pickleball with the, you know, because it's just great. And I end up we have a lot more in common than we thought, and it's weird, but it's I like this demographic. It's good. They're not the ones that are going to try to take shots during my show. They're the ones that are like going to sneak in a tea bag and just order hot water all night long. So I'm okay with that.
Those bastards.
Well, that that actually could bring us to something here, because we texted before the show, and you threw out some things that you might need backup on. But did you want to bring that up? Do you need backup this week on this topic?
I might. I'm getting a little bit of pushback, so that's when you need backup, right?
Oh, that's exactly right. You've come to the
Pushback,
right
you bring it
place.
up.
Pre-show banter, we're done. Let's get
Okay.
on
With it. I'm putting
Right.
a lid on it, and we're getting into the real show here.
All right.
Okay, guys, here's the thing. So people keep asking me. They're like, well, because you were on that Corona ship because I was on the Grand Princess, the news cruise, and the trip lasted longer. I get quarantined on a military base, and then like as soon as I got home, everybody was going, I bet you'll never cruise again, huh? And I was like, I would get on a cruise today. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, don't you think it's dangerous? I'm like, always. It's always been the same level of danger. Like, coronavirus did not make a cruise ship gross. They were gross. Like, there's a risk attached, but there's also like this weird this routine you get into as a cruise, either a cruiser or a cruise performer, where I miss that routine. You know, I miss I miss being at sea. I miss like the rock. I miss the steady paycheck. Let's just put that at the top of the list.
Sure.
Yes.
But yeah,
yes.
I would go back on a cruise tomorrow, and I'm getting a lot of pushback from all kinds of people. Even my wife is all like, "You shouldn't get on a cruise ship. I can't believe you're even thinking about it." She's great, but I can't believe like you would have. And so I'm like having to like be like, "Oh, maybe I'll probably not this year." But I'm telling my cruise agent like, "I'm available. Just put me on the cruise ship the minute one opens up." So I'm fine with that. I don't know, and I know you're a cruiser, Andrew. I don't know about you, Johnny. You ever been on a? You ever done?
Oh yeah,
some
I've done some. I don't do them as. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm probably a little less than Andrew, I would guess.
Okay.
Maybe 3 or 4 a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe we're probably like, and then I'm probably maybe just a little under you, because you work multiple cruise lines, and I only work.
Yeah, I work all of them, pretty much all of them, and yeah.
That's such an interesting thing, because you're right. I think the general perception is it's like you'd be insane to go on a cruise ship, because they were the first ones to like get COVID, at least with Americans to get COVID,
Right.
you know. And it does seem, but yeah, people don't realize those things before COVID, they were like, it's like wash your hands all the time because at any moment this norovirus or there's all these other things that can completely destroy it was always there. And actually COVID with the vaccination scares me less than like norovirus because that is the one where you're like puking and shitting. And
most comics, I've talked to a lot of us about every 11th cruise you'll get diarrhea. Like it's just you're like, which cruise is it gonna be?
Yeah,
and then
it's just, is it the food or is it a virus?
Right,
that's the big debate.
Right, and like, did I touch a handrail and forget to wash my hands? Like it's so easy to spread that. But it's kind of like to me, it's the same statistic on like about every 11th flight, one of my bags doesn't make it. And it'll take a couple, it'll get there. But it's like, you just have to factor that in. I don't think I'm helping my case here at all.
No, you're not. But let me ask you a question. Because you
shows you're trying to be fair.
That's right. Yeah, I'll look at it from both sides. Okay, I see.
I want to back you up because it's funny. This is because I've been hearing rumblings about like that cruises like coming back and
right.
And so. And you're right. The money is very tempting, and you want to get back to like being able to just
when
plan
they're
out
fun.
your calendar.
I think they're fun. I mean,
they can be
the right cruise line without coronavirus on a if you get a great cabin and a great route, like you get a nice guest cabin and you're going to Alaska. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do that all day. I'll go to Alaska in a nice cabin. That's great.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Because one of the things they're talking about is like requiring comics to stay on for like 6-week or longer contracts because it limits the. Does that change it for you at all? Like, would you do 6 weeks in a row on the same ship, or would that be too much?
What a great question. What a fantastic question.
Most complimentary guest we've had.
I might just quit and let Johnny take the rest of this because I'm riding high. I don't want to screw it up now. 2 in a row.
Oh, the answer is no. I still have it in my
that's too
contract.
long.
No more than 2 weeks. I'll do. And so there's a lot of lines that I think are going to start right out the gate, like booking comics. They're like, I'll go for the whole year. And they're like, well, then welcome aboard. I'm waiting until we go back to like a more normal, if we ever do have one. And otherwise, I'll find a different way to. That's one thing I found through the pandemic. There's more than one way for a comedian to make money. Put a little scratch together. I mean, it's
crochet some dicks.
I'm telling you, 1 month that was like a percentage of my income, and I was like, oh, that little dick business is really paying off now.
You all laughed at me. You said it wasn't gonna happen for me, and
you
now
said,
look.
why in the hell would you put squeaky balls in there? And now who's laughing?
My dad full on said, every time I see that, I just pretend you're not my daughter. Like, and he's very supportive and he's really funny. And I don't know if he was really serious, but he hates the crochet dicks. He wouldn't let me. I visited him last week and he wouldn't let me make them while I was there. He's like, just don't. Yeah.
But what would be great is if you really made money with, like tons of money, and you're able to buy your parents like a new house and like, you know what paid for that new house? These crochet dicks. Okay.
That's
so
the house the penis
be respectful.
Built. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think my little crocheted penis business could put in the paycheck that a cruise ship does. But also, I don't think I could sell those on a cruise ship.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what is the longest you have been out on a cruise?
Longest I've ever been out was 3 weeks, and it was when I was trying to get on Holland America. That was their test run. And they wanted 4, but we negotiated down to 3. And it was, I love working that line now, but the learning curve on that particular cruise line, it took the full 3 weeks for me to finally put together a good show, unfortunately. And I worked Holland, for the next 3 years, and I went to one of the same ships that I played in that first 3 weeks, and I went in to get to the crew bar to get a water, and this guy, he goes, "Hey, you that guitar girl, I can't believe you're still playing this line." And I was like, "Thank you." And I went back to my room and I thought about it. I was like, I can't, after those first couple weeks, like it was awful. My set really needed to adapt to an older audience, and it took a minute. That one took a minute.
That's something people might not realize, but each cruise line kind of has its own clientele, like their demographics, and like they're all kind of known. They're like colleges, sort of. It's like, like Carnival's like the party school, and then Holland is like the 55
I don't
and
play
up.
carnival. I think I'm too old for carnival, or like my act is too old schemed for carnival. Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of crocheting
No.
circles.
I mean, they
The
maybe
dicks,
wear like
the dicks maybe.
The dicks, yeah.
Not the crochet.
maybe you can take this, but yeah, you're right. You're right. Carnival's like the
Yeah.
party, and then Royal, you get like the families that think they're fun.
Yeah.
My
I don't
parents
know
are
what-
on Royal,
yeah,
so
like
they're
the
like,
one
we're
that-
fun. We're fun. We're on Royal. We're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're crazy. That's what I
Yeah,
like, is
yeah.
families that think they're crazy, but they're not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like, and then I don't know, like, because the one Johnny and I work is and you do.
I
as
love
well as
Norwegian. Norwegian's, I think, the best middle of the, like, you got your high end and you got your low end, and you've got kind of got a little good mix of everybody, but it's a fun
Yeah.
ship, fun vibe. I like Norwegian.
Yeah.
I like it because you're doing a lot of shows. You're not, you always have something to do. You get like what, one night off a week?
I have two thoughts on this one because I've played both. The ship that you play, like the first time I did Norwegian, I was the MC, and so I worked like 16 shows over the course of a week. But I've also
that's
worked.
too many.
I've also worked Princess, where you work once.
Yeah,
And-
I started on Princess.
I kind of like working once because you're like, what else can you do? I'm like, everything. I can do all kinds of stuff. I learned how to watch the news. Like I learned where the gym was. Like crazy.
You learned
Yeah.
how to
Learned how to-
watch the news.
I never watched the news before. I think this came with sobriety too. I never I
How
didn't
long
know.
did it take to learn?
To learn
Well,
how.
Well,
Just where the
took a
channel
couple
was?
practice runs. Yeah, to
Yeah.
find out where the channel was. And then Rachel Maddow, she actually got me through that very first 3-week Holland thing because she was the only other lesbian on the ship. And she was on the TV, but still every night I'd be like, oh, Rachel, tell me some good news. And she didn't have any, but it was reassuring just to see her there.
What people might
Is she
not
on
know.
a loop? Don't they just have her on a loop all day long?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's one way to look at it.
What I don't know how it is on the other ones, but like on Norwegian, though, yeah, I get kind of sick of the news by the end of it because it's one of the things. There's not that many channels, and then I end up watching it a lot. And then, but the worst part is you would think there's no commercial. They aren't allowed to play like the actual commercials. I don't know what the royalties or the licensing. So they end up playing just promo ads for the different MSNBC shows themselves. And then you learn that, and it's over and over. Like you'll watch the same, like Lawrence O'Donnell talking
Chris
about his tiny
Matthews.
desks or whatever
Yeah.
for like 5,000 times, and you want to. By the end of it, I hate all of them. I can't stand any of them because you see them.
Who's the guy that's got? He's like, in basketball.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
referee.
The
That's
rules.
the worst.
Shouldn't somebody be playing
No,
by
it's-
the rules? Chris
Yeah,
Matthews
it's
like,
so
I
stupid.
like a good fight as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Chuck Todd is the basketball one.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
that's
hate
right,
him.
that's
And
right.
you're right. And now I see him, I'm like, I hate that guy. I'm like, why do I hate that guy? And it's like, oh, because that stupid basketball thing where he's the referee. You're not the referee. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's irrational. But
Yeah. How do you deal with the TV situation? Now, you may not know this at home, but like for cruise comedians, you walk in, your TV is locked, and so you only get those TVs. And I use an HDMI cable to plug my computer into it to watch the thousands of movies and TV shows that I get from other entertainers. But you have to find the workaround to each TV. And I don't know if Andrew, if you've been working
you told
out
me
long
something genius
Yeah.
because like when they give you, so this is getting into the weeds a little bit, but why not? So when you get a crew cabin, and they're on Norwegian, the TV is manipulatable, so to speak. So like you said, you can get an HDMI cable, and I can
Yeah.
plug that into my laptop or a Nintendo Wii or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Which?
you're off to the races, right?
Yeah. I
But
played
then
Breath
you
of the
go-
Wild on a long cruise. Yeah.
In the we could do a whole nother hour
Oh
on
yeah.
Zelda,
We almost started a podcast about Breath of the Wild.
which would be way more popular.
Oh my God, you guys do a Zelda podcast. I will be a reoccurring guest because
Yeah.
I'm new to it in the last 5 years, but totally obsessed.
Well, you
great.
come to the right place. John's
Yes.
more than me, I guess. But then, so you this is genius, and I think you were the one that told me about this. Is in the passenger cabins, they don't allow you to switch the video on the TV, right? You can't hit the button.
No.
So
yeah.
So like you can plug your HDMI cable in, but nothing happens because you can't switch to like HDMI 2 or whatever. You have to
You
just
can't
watch.
change the input.
But I think it was you, the universal remote. You went out and got a universal. Oh my God! For those of you listening at home, she has it with her right now.
It's the easiest thing to get, and it programs to. This is I think on Samsung because most of them are, but you can program to anything, and this will. Oh, God, it saves you. I use it in hotel rooms too, because some hotel rooms don't want you doing that, and so they'll lock your TV into their network, and you just need your own remote. Get a remote. All right.
Get a universal.
What is?
remote.
I don't understand the logic of why. What are they losing by allowing access to you?
They want you to buy their content. They want you to buy like in a hotel.
Oh,
they want you to pay
movies.
for their movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sell stuff on there, and
That's right. I guess they do
newer
that.
movies you can buy and stuff. So yeah, so they don't want you bringing your laptop full of stolen Chinese Marvel movies.
Or like my wife hates them. I'll be like, "Oh, I have that movie." She goes, "Does it have Russian subtitles?" I'm like, "Of course." I worked with a magician that illegally downloaded like everything, and then I got to have his hard drive. I remember we were like in the middle of who knows, somewhere in the Caribbean in this bumpy taxi cab, and I'm like transferring files before we get to the airport because I'm about to lose all of this. I was like, which movies are most important? I can get like 150 of them. So, yeah.
Yeah. Leave it to a magician to somehow steal millions of movies without nobody knowing.
Well, I ransacked Allison's hard drive for all those movies before we got off the boat on that last one we did, and so now if I'm like on my iTunes watching stuff, every now and again it'll ask me for Flip's password to his iTunes account because he officially bought it, so it's like linked to his, and I'm like, what
That's
the hell? I
funny.
don't know that, so then I have to delete
Do
it.
you guess at it? Do you ever guess at people's passwords? Sometimes I
If
do.
it's not
like,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not trying after that.
Yeah.
I saw Allison on an episode of 25 Words or Less. The game show. Yeah, she won.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? I'm not. What is that game show? I haven't heard of that
Oh
one.
my God, it's great. It's great. It's Meredith Vieira hosts.
Oh
and
wow!
it's this,
You're really patting your old lady status here.
I know. It's
I
a
don't
game
know.
show. Meredith is on it, and she's the most monotone host
Vieira.
ever. And I think she might be drunk half the time. And because she's just really calm, and she's like, "Welcome to 25 Words or Less. I'm Meredith Vieira." And then the guests, like there's two guests, and then they each have two celebrities with them, and they're trying to get the celebrities to guess these words, but they have a certain amount of words that they can use as clues. And so if I was trying to get you to guess Harry Potter, I'd be like, wizard, wand, and hopefully you'd guess it. If not, I'd look at you like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how the show goes. Yeah. And so it's great.
Oh, and she won.
She
That's
did.
great.
She did.
Is it a lot of money involved?
Not a lot at all. No.
Oh,
and I
okay.
think the most
That's
you can get is
always-
like, I think she got 10 grand, but like the runner up gets like a gift card to Omaha Steakhouse.
Yeah. The inflation on game show like winnings has kind of ruined some of it for me because Who Wants to Be a Millionaire really screwed it all up because like you'd never heard of someone like getting $1 million on a game show before, and
Right.
now you watch like Wheel of Fortune, and they always pad it there too because they're like they really have like 12 grand, but then they're like and a trip to Hawaii which equals $56,000. They're like, all right, yeah, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Not the way my
What do you-
family goes to Hawaii, but
Yeah, and they show some of those resorts. Okay, they're not that nice. Like the ones they used to show on Kelly Ripa and I guess it's Ryan Seacrest now. They're awful places. You see them because now I know some of those places because you go on these cruises in the Caribbean and stuff. And they're like, ooh, and even like the promo shots, it's like the pool is like half empty, and stuff's broken, and you're like, I don't think that place. I don't think you're gonna want to stay there.
yeah, I don't know how much you actually win. Like on a game show, I don't. Even if you win, you like have taxes and stuff.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
gotta
like,
pay like half back immediately.
Yeah,
It's not worth it. no.
yeah. I'll just boo game shows.
Yeah.
Boo, I'll back you up
The
there.
sad part
Unpopular
about getting
opinion,
older.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo game show. Screw you, Allison.
You know who crochets? Vanna White. Vanna White is a crocheter. She has her own
Wow.
brand of yarn. Yeah, fun fact.
Young Vanna White crochet.
That's right. Little Sweet 16 Vanna. It's called Vanna's Choice Yarn. She's also sold many yarn and crochet books. So
Vanna White has one of the rare jobs where she could actually crochet while she's working.
I would love that. Yeah, she totally could.
She's like, what was that? Oh, E? Okay, yeah, I got
She's
it. You know
crocheting the
what?
dress she's
Why don't you
wearing.
just turn? I don't really have to touch it. It seems like a digital board at this point. So
Just nods.
yeah, point
Yeah.
point the crochet stick at it. And,
Crochet stick.
okay, well we're backing you up. I do think that you're right. If they brought the 2 weeks back and I was fully vaccinated and I get my second shot next week and
Oh, way to go! Yeah.
and if all that was in place, I think you're right. It's like, you know, what else are we gonna do? There's risks in life, so
Yeah,
I'm with you. on
sign
that.
me up.
I would go back if it was 2 weeks. I would go back.
Here's a question though: will there be a buffet? And if there is, will you go to the buffet?
Yeah. No,
you
because
will.
to me,
See, me too.
it's like, what's
Yeah.
the difference at this point? We're all on here, you know. If someone's got it, we're gonna get it. Or if you're vaccinated, then you're not. So, like,
I have to
isn't
keep
that
up-
the whole point? You know. So it's like,
Go to the buffet. I don't care what she says. I'm gonna eat at the buffet. She's very
No,
adamant
but there's
that
all
I
the-
don't. Like,
that is. It's like I don't know. I feel like we're getting really in the weeds here on like what's okay and what's not. Like to me, once you get everybody vaccinated, it's like that's our best chance. And if like this disease somehow mutates past that, and then it's like we're all then you might as well just go
start
for it.
over. We'll
We're
start over.
screwed.
Pandemic
Yeah.
2. Go
Yeah.
back inside.
But
We'll
this
do
whole
it
thing
again.
that we're never gonna eat at buffets again, or no one should ever shake hands again, or whatever. It's like I don't buy it. You know, it's like once you get to a certain point, that's it. You open stuff up. You go back to the way it was.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'll wear like I'm traveling in masks. I'll wear masks in
Yeah.
businesses.
Oh
but
yeah.
on a
Wear the
walk-
mask.
on
yeah.
a walk. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I feel like my dad, because my dad's like, I don't wear masks. I'm like, Dad, put your mask on. Come on, we got to pretend this is real. And then I come home, she's like, put your mask on. I'm like, I don't want to walk. I don't. Nobody
Right.
tell me what to do.
No.
Kristen, you wear them when you go for walks, like outside?
Yes.
Or does she not want you to? Or why are we?
Wants us to. She wants us to wear masks on a walk. It's
Oh, but
mainly
they
when
said
yeah.
I was too, or I would wear them like I would have one with me, and then if
Yeah.
like people were passing, I'd put it on for a second and take it off. But then but then they said like the CDC said or something like if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask outside. They all said that, so I'm like, you know, I'm not going to do it anymore.
I'll back you up on that. I'll back you up
Yeah.
100% on that. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to be like this anti, you know. That's funny because we create these two camps. You're either like, Mr. Everything is, you know, horrible and we're all going to die of COVID, or you're like, don't believe it was ever real in the first place. And it's like, it's actually, you know, you just listen to the updates and they learn
Right.
more about it every day and you try to keep up, you know.
We didn't leave the house basically for a year. Like we barely left the house. We didn't even go to the grocery store through the holidays. So it's like now that I've had a little taste of freedom, I'm just like, oh, where else can I go? Now I'm back to
You are-
going to the grocery store once a day.
That would be great if you stayed quarantined the entire time. And the first time you left, you're like, all right, 2-week cruise to the Bahamas, going straight to the buffet. We're going to test this vaccine. We're going to really test this thing. We're going to give it a real shock test on this.
My
how
poor
strong
immune
it is.
system would get on there and just be like, oh God, colds. I get colds.
Overload.
I'm worried about that. Like I'm used to like traveling all the time and my immune system is like always like pretty active, I think. I'm always on planes. I'm always in
Right.
you know, germy places and I haven't been sick in a whole year and I'm like, oh, is my immune system going to be like sluggish or like did my immune system get old?
Yeah, that's a good. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. Oh, another thing
Oh,
to be
good. New
worried
things
about.
to be afraid of. Oh, this is like an old person show. Is your immune system trying to kill you? More at 11.
Well,
I
there's only
don't
one
mind
way.
being sick. Is that bad? Like being sick is kind of like a forced vacation. It's like, you know, you just gotta play video games and everyone like you can be lazy as shit and no one's mad at you because you're sick.
Yeah.
This is like a slippery slope to being like, go ahead, take my legs off. What if then I'll never have to walk anywhere?
Well, I'm talking about just.
What if I
you know,
was
being
completely
cold.
paralyzed
Dude, I'm
from
not
the neck
talking about
down?
that.
Do you do any preventables or is it just like how often do you get sick?
I don't get sick very often.
Okay.
I don't. So that's why when I do, I milk it like I am.
Okay. I'm a cold fighter. It's like I'm like like ginger tea and like garlic and all this stuff to try to prevent it. But then
vitamin D, I've been taking a lot of vitamin D.
I do everything. I take my supplements every night. But like if it does, like I start to feel like a little rundown, I'm like, clear my schedule. I gotta rest. I gotta rest it up. Same like video game.
And that's nice, right?
Yeah, it is nice.
Because you don't feel guilty because you're like, well, no, I'm trying to fight this
it's
thing.
A sick
Yeah,
day.
I'm sick.
I took 2 days off when I got my second COVID shot just in case.
Yeah, but that's the problem with like comedy before COVID. At least if you got sick, it didn't matter. You still had to do the show. You know, you can't cancel shows. So I hated being sick and then knowing I had to go do a show, or like losing your voice.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Having to fly sick is the worst. Like, have you ever flown with an ear infection? Oh my God.
No,
it's
but
terrible.
It's bad enough
painful.
with a cold or So, I was the sickest I've ever been. I was at the Comedy Underground in Seattle, and in between shows, I think it was food poisoning, but just losing it in the bathroom stall, just puking my guts out. And it's like, it's like you can't not do the second, you know what I mean? Like there's nobody else there. So it's,
oh man, that sucks.
I did the same thing where I was like, my whole family had like diarrhea and vomit, just some awful bug. And I was like, this cannot hit me. I have to do this college. And it made, it got to the night before and I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. And I had like a 7 a.m. flight. And then at 2 a.m, it just hit me. And I was like, oh shit, I still got to try. I had to run out of line of security, go in the bathroom and like, I almost shit my pants. It was just almost, and I vomited. It was terrible.
We, at our wedding, there was like, I think, like we were in Montana and there, some kids got, I think it was norovirus. I do. It's like they were at Yellowstone or something, and the water there, they can get contaminated. Anyway, they brought it back, and so slowly afterward, everybody was getting this bug. We were hearing reports.
Wedding?
Yeah, people driving back because we were in beautiful Montana, so that they were like, oh, we're gonna take a couple days, go to the National Bison Range, and just people like texting pictures of like people leaning out the side of their van, puking all over the bison or whatever, and so. I didn't get it until we had an extra night before we were going to go on our honeymoon, and then I got it, and I was in the hotel room the night after our wedding, and we were going to Mexico, and I was like puking and shitting in the hotel room.
All that
not
sexy
romantic
stuff.
at all that sexy stuff. And then it occurred to me, it's like, oh my God, we're going to Mexico, and I'm like puking and shit. It's like, there's Montezuma's revenge. It's like, this is Montezuma's preemptive strike. This is him being like, hey, don't try any shit. Okay? I'm Montezuma. You're coming. Just know what's up. So the whole time I'm in Mexico, I was so scared I'm going to get it again. Like I'm going to get the Mexican version. And
what a great way to start a marriage, though,
Yeah, there were no secrets.
Yeah.
No secrets.
We were a few years in when the first time a stomach flu hit, and it's like it's a wonderful, like, I don't know, you don't know how your spouse is gonna, like, do you want me to like come in there and like rub your back? And it's like I was like, do I need to get up? She's like, lay there and pretend like you can't hear anything. And I was like, I love you. This is great.
Yeah.
And then like a few minutes later, she stomps in all mad with the trash bag. I pooped my pants. I was like, all right, we're in this. We are in this. Yeah.
My wife, when we was kind of early on when we were dating, got really sick, and she told me, well, see, I didn't know exactly how sick she was because she was trying to keep it, like keep the mystery or whatever. And she was like, oh, I just got sick in the bathroom. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But then we like kissed and pretty like tongue, the whole thing. And then later on, she, weeks later, she goes, I can't believe you would, I knew you were great because you would kiss me even after I got sick in the bathroom. And I was like, oh, well, you were sick. I wasn't worried about catching it. I'll be sick too. She's like, no, but I vomited in the I was like, what? You said you got sick to mean vomit? I didn't know that. So she's giving me all this credit for being willing to kiss her after she puked. I was like, I would not have done that if you didn't use this crazy euphemism for throwing up.
I would have broken up with you, goddammit.
But that was like, she's not big on like bathroom humor. She's not big on like shitting jokes, or she doesn't even like talking about it. So to her family, they would say get sick to literally mean I like as a verb or whatever.
We have a code word for everything. So it's like butt sick is one of I got butt sick is I guess we call it diarrhea.
I
got
could
butt
put that
sick.
one
Yeah.
together. Actually.
Okay.
I was able to decode that one.
Like, it's just word I don't know. I think she's not tacky. So it was like butt sick. Lady time was one because you don't want to say period. That just feels weird. So we've always been lady time and butt sick, and we have code word. Now, if we pee with the door open, we always yell code word. So don't look at me, I guess is what that means. I'm peeing with the door open. But
You guys have multiple. Do you have one bathroom or two bathrooms?
we have two, but we don't close the door. But we also don't want you to look at us. Like, we don't pee in front of each other. But like, now I guess it's just a game of like
If
don't
you're
look.
taking if you're taking a shower, do you allow someone to come in and use the bathroom because there's no looking?
It
as long
doesn't
as it's
bother
number
me.
one?
We've been together for 15 years, by the way. It doesn't bother me. It bothers her, but just because she knows I'll forget and flush, and then it's like
Oh, because of the
yeah,
hot water.
Yeah, it's the hot water more than anything. Because I always forget, even though I'm like, I know you're in there. I'm not gonna flush, and then I'll be talking.
We're
and I'll
one.
be like,
Yeah, Heidi and I have always been one bathroom, so it's like kind of like you have to at least allow for the possibility of someone coming in and using.
Well, now that you have a baby, like that changes everything. Now it's like there are no secret times. Like her whole family had seen me like poop before she's ever seen me pee. And this was like early on because I stayed at her sister's house, and they had young kids, and I was in the bathroom, and the little one was like, "What are you doing?" And his brother was like, "Don't go in there." And then my brother-in-law was like, "Guys, leave her alone." And then Colleen was like, "You guys!" And like, "It's four people coming in to watch. This is great."
It's like a scene from a Fairley Brothers movie.
Everyone's just looking over the taller person's shoulder. You know,
It's
just
what
like,
it felt like for me. I'm just.
It's like the Brady Bunch. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. So we're backing you up. Go on that cruise ship. 2 weeks though. I think you're right. Keep it short and sweet, and so you can get home. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need any more than that.
Johnny, do you need backup this week?
Let me ask you this real quick. This is still in my head. So so you can't go in the bathroom when Heidi's peeing, right?
No, not unless I'm showering. That would be the only scenario.
And
And I would have had to already start showering. It's not like I don't wait to shower until she's peeing. I don't walk by her. Yeah.
Sure. Yes, of course.
Unless it's some sort of emergency. But go ahead.
So, because my wife she'll just have conversations with me while she's peeing. You know, whatever, fine. She has the door open. I go in the bedroom, and she's like, "Oh, hey, are we doing that camping thing next week?" And so I'm like talking to her while she's peeing. But then, like, sometimes I'll walk in the bathroom, not knowing she's in there, and she's like, "What? What if I was pooping?" But it's like, with a woman, you look the same. Like, you could have pooped one of these times, and I wouldn't know. You just
Yeah.
wouldn't have to, unless it smelled fucking god awful. But, I mean,
You
aside
never
from
know.
that,
You never know if it's going to be awful or great.
it's sitting. You look the same. Peeing
I
and
don't
pooping.
understand this thing of leaving the door open, though.
That's weird.
Is that common?
I think
Does
it's because
everyone
we
just
talk
leave
to
the
each
door
other
open?
so much. I think it's because we're always
Yeah.
chit-chatting. And usually our offices are on, her office is down one side of the hall, mine's on the other. And so typically if I open the door, like to pee, she'll say, "What are you doing?" And so we take breaks every time we take a bathroom break. So I'll talk to her while I'm peeing, So it's like
Yeah.
I leave the door open so we can chit-chat.
Yeah, I guess
We get
can-
very little done. It's really distracting. I think during the day, I'm like, well, both of us taking pee breaks about every half hour or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get work done because we chit chat a lot.
But so then, Johnny, when Aaron talks to you from the bathroom, is the door open or closed? Or are you talking through the closed door?
No, open.
Open.
Wide
okay.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but she's leaving the door open only if she's just peeing. If it's pooping, the
Right,
door
right.
is
Yeah,
closed.
exactly.
And it's
Same,
like, what if I?
same.
Yeah.
Doors closed. There is no code word for that. Yeah.
There's no code word for "I am taking a shit." Do not come in here.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We're pretty much closed door peeing or pooping, I think. And even though we only have one bathroom, so that's kind of remarkable. But yeah,
Keeping the mystery alive. That's
I think it's important.
so far,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well,
now that,
wait,
now
was
that I
that your
clarified
topic,
that,
or
I got
did you
that
need?
out of the way.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was your official. If it was
No,
just
that
a
was
big
not
coincidence.
that was not what I needed backup on. All right, so this is I'm gonna go. I'm going conspiracy on this. Okay.
Ooh.
So
This will get us up in the ratings. This is good.
Apple, yes, and it's real juicy too. Apple, I think it is. I think these updates are made to make your products shittier because you cannot have an Apple, like an iPhone. You know, I used to, when it started coming out, I got a computer, I got a phone. I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. This is my phone for life. This is cool. And now it's like, you buy the phone, it's like, well, this is going to be a piece of shit in 2 years, no matter how good I care for it. It's because we had an iPad. We didn't use it for anything except for just streaming stuff. The second version that ever came out. And now it's slowly, you can't update it past a certain point because it's too old. And like Hulu, HBO Max, and Disney Plus, and Apple TV or Apple Plus do not work on it because it's too old.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's exactly what they do.
But I mean, and it's slower than shit. But like, I haven't added anything to it. All we're doing is streaming stuff.
No, that's.
So I think every update like makes it like, okay, we're gonna fucking slow that down so they get irritated and they have to buy a new one.
I actually intentionally avoid I never do the update. I'm scared of the updates. I'm like, everything's working fine now.
I don't feel like the old person on the show anymore. This is great. I don't trust the updates. They're trying to steal my iPad. Like
No, but I just get nervous about it because I'm like, everything's working fine. I don't know what it is you're trying, because I feel like if I update it,
I know
lose something, or like you said,
can't undo it.
Slower, you can't undo it. You can't
Yeah.
go back. You cannot once you go, you cannot go back. You know, so
That's part of my routine is every time I'd use my computers, I would have to say, nope, I'll do it tomorrow.
24 hours.
Years.
Yeah, I hit the 24-hour. Remind me tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow. Every morning I hit
day.
the remind me.
And I finally had to update this computer because it wasn't holding a charge, and I took it in to have them check it, and they're like, "Oh, everything's fine. You might need to update it because there's like battery settings in the update." And I did, and it's like a new computer battery wise. But now I'm like, well, now I don't have iTunes anymore because they got rid of that, 3 updates ago. And so it's like, but I fought it as hard as I could. But then, they got me with the battery thing. Like, why would my battery not hold a charge because it's an old update?
Because they're smart. They're so smart. How long do you hang on to your computers before you get a new computer?
I think I got this one in 2017, November 2017.
Oh, okay, that's fairly new. Yeah, that's fairly new. Yeah,
and the one before that I had, I don't know, 9 years.
That's a long time for a computer. Yeah. I
mean, it was.
It would be interesting to hear. It would be interesting to talk to like an Apple employee or whatever other company sells computer employee. How long they expect? Like, how long does an Apple employee keep their gear? How long do they keep a phone? How long do they keep a laptop?
Me and my dad looked at. I think it's supposed to be about 5 years. 5 to 7 years is the most you're supposed to be able to get out of a computer before you upgrade, based on like how technology is moving right now. Me and my dad are both gadget heads. I went back to visit my folks last week, and we chit-chatted for one day before he was at the Mac store getting a new computer, and I got a new iPad. We were both just like,
talked yourselves into it. Yeah,
we're like that. We're like devil's advocate. Yeah, like because he was like, oh, my battery keeps dying, I'm gonna get a new battery. I was like, if you're gonna get a new battery, you might as well just get a new computer. And I was like, my iPad's a little small, it doesn't really work for my live show. He's like, you should get a new iPad. I'm like, they're so expensive. And the next thing you know, we both have new gear.
What? I'm trying to. So I've been almost talking myself into like a new phone because I have an iPhone. I think it's a 7.
You need a new phone. You need a new phone. I'll back you up on that. Get a new phone.
Because I was saying like these cameras on these iPhones are. My dad got a new iPhone, like iPhone 12, which is very embarrassing. When your dad like out iPhones you, it's very embarrassing.
By 5 models.
By 5, yeah, it's aggressive. Yeah. And I'm like, we were in Palm Springs and they came and visited us and. We kept asking him to take all our like family. He's like, "Hey, Dad, can we use your phone? Me and my Heidi want to take a picture in front of the pool or whatever." But So I was justifying it because it's like, oh, I should be taping on when more stand-up comes back. I got to have content, to fill on Instagram and all this stuff. I want to film all my shows. But then, I need a new camera. But then I was like, should I really buy a new camera? These cameras on these iPhones are so good. I should just get a new phone, So that's how I kind of was like working myself into it.
And you do have a baby. And you're going to want to take a ton of pictures,
Right.
Yeah.
And that baby's probably not going to want to go to college. So I should just spend it on the phone. But it's hard when you're in I don't know. Let me ask you guys, are you comfortable with just buying yourself a new phone and leaving your spouse in the dust with whatever phone? Or do you have to get,
I always gets my old broken piece of shit.
That's how we do. I give her my old Apple Watch. We're a little separate we keep things separated. And so if it's time for me to get a new phone, I'll get a new phone. And then a few years behind me, she's always the last. She'll hold on to a piece of technology so long because she doesn't change. And so in the minute she gets something new, I get so excited. I take it out. I play with it. She gets something. She's like, oh, will you set it up? I hate this. It's not like my old one.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, now she's listening. She doesn't.
You should have whispered.
You're going to come in. I do love technology.
Bring her on. Let's have her side of it. Okay.
I know.
Well, yeah. So no, I'm backing you up, Johnny. Those updates are for sure. That's the point of them, is to make things,
It's a conspiracy.
I think they do make them better.
It is a conspiracy. They are against you.
But it's they're against you. They're trying to get your money. It's a
They want
conspiracy.
your money. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a conspiracy that Apple wants your money. I think they're pretty open about that. But
They're not like TV preachers.
No, they don't.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys are on, I know you're starting a Patreon, which is fantastic. And so if you're listening, please support the Cavalry Patreon, because I love this. But I started, I have one now, and I feel like a televangelist, because everything I do now is just put more money into my Patreon account, and I'll give you more bonus content.
Your happiness is one tier away.
I know. I'm sending out weird merch that only they can have, this prayer cloth or whatever.
This crocheted penis is what you need to heal your grandmother.
They got to pay extra for that.
That's top tier.
That's right.
There's top tier, you get the foreskin.
Well, each one comes with a little handwritten card that says, "This is a handmade wang with love by a nasty grandma." So.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I feel backed up.
You feel backed up?
Do you have one?
Yes, I do. And this, I'll go quick because this is kind of a quick one. So, we're all in committed relationships, so I think we can relate. But I don't think. Yeah.
No.
How
of
long?
course.
Is it still?
As
Are we
far
still
as
in
our
all? Are we
listeners
still all?
know.
So, I don't like it, and I don't think people should call anyone lucky in the so how sometimes people try to compliment you because your spouse is so great, so you're so lucky to have, you're lucky, or they're lucky, or she's lucky to have you, or you're lucky to have them. It's never a compliment to anybody, to either side, because if I'm lucky to have her, that means I'm some ugly horse's ass, some troll that just picked up a lottery ticket and she felt sorry for and willing to spend the rest of her life with me, But even for her, that's not great, because that means she's just totally underachieving, and doing an act of charity. So it doesn't make her look good either. So neither of us should be considered lucky. It's not, you're not complimenting anyone when you say that. You should just say, hey, that's a win-win, Yeah. You're great for her. She's great for you. You're great for each other. That's a win-win. I don't like the lucky thing. I think we should, and people think they're being nice. That's the thing, is they think they're really being nice when they say you got lucky. You hear it in wedding toasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
I'll hear you. And sometimes I feel like they're hitting on the person. They say, "Oh, you're really lucky to be with them." What do you want her? Yeah, you think she's that great?
I could tell you some
trying to
shit,
sleep
okay?
with my wife? You telling me I'm lucky?
You think you want to sleep with her now? I could tell you some stuff. All right. Wait till that door's open and they're using the bathroom.
She'll kiss you after she gets sick. Yeah, you think that's lucky? Yeah.
No, you're right. It is kind of it's both. It's them insulting you and sort of hitting on your spouse, because it's like, oh, wow. How did you? That's the other way they do it, but how did you do that? Whoa.
How'd you pull that off?
How'd you pull that? How'd you trick her?
Yeah, horse face. What are you doing with
Horse
that
face.
pretty woman there? Oh.
How did you manipulate your wife into loving you? Tell me how, so I can do it.
There should be a better way of saying that. Just like couples together. Oh, that's you guys make a great couple. That's what you say.
There you go.
And not like one of you's lucky and the other one like,
Yeah.
thank God, right? Otherwise, you'd just be out there, you know.
How did a 5 end up with a 9? Oof.
That's
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm losing sleep thinking about how you, looking like you do, married her. What the fuck happened?
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, what a compliment.
Thank you. We're very happy. Thank you.
My best man, everybody. Give it up. No, I like that. That's a good way. You're perfect for each other. Oh, you guys are perfect for each other. That's a good way to say it.
Which I guess could be taken the other way too. It's like you guys are. I guess there's a lid for every pot.
You're right. There probably is just a bad way to receive every compliment, and maybe it's just a way of looking at the world.
They should just
you
say,
guys are.
You're both attractive and both smart. Have a good life.
Yeah.
And now you want to swing? That sounds like, oh, you're both attractive. You're so smart. You guys wanna throuple this thing? I don't know. Like what is it? The two people are together. You're perfect together. I can't even think what I was gonna say, but it was along the lines of God made two of you.
Yeah, no, but you're right. So you're perfect for each other can be taken the wrong way, but you're. I don't know what you should say to people. What, John? You're attractive and you're smart.
Yeah. There's no. Hey, how could that be misconstrued?
Right.
Oh, well, he said we're both smart and we're both attractive.
It could come off odd. They could think you're like on the spectrum a little bit. Like, you're attractive and you're smart. Like, oh wow, thank you, Johnny. We're gonna go over here now.
You have red shoes. You have blue shoes. Yeah. Oh, I see. You deserve each other. That's the other one. You deserve each other, because that sounds mean as well.
Yeah, that does sound mean. Yeah.
What did I do? To deserve this?
Each
like,
other.
I don't deserve. This is weird.
What was I?
Am I being
murderer in my last
punishment
life?
or
Yeah.
yeah?
I deserve her. I mean, I know she deserves me, but
I'll back you up. I'll back you up on your.
Yeah,
so lucky.
okay.
Absolutely.
Quit
I will
telling
back you up on
people
that.
they're lucky.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
I'll never say that
it's
to
not
anybody
luck.
unless I don't like them. If I don't like somebody, I'll be like, "You are so lucky."
God, you're lucky.
So
But you know what
lucky.
happened? My wife was actually complaining about it because I went to. We were at, like I said, we were in Palm Springs on vacation, and we were at this Mexican restaurant, and my mom was there, and my aunt, and I had to change, or our daughter pooped. Okay, just keeping on theme with this podcast. She shit her pants like an idiot.
Can't back you up on this one. Yeah.
No, but then
live with that.
Yeah.
You're so
perfect.
lucky to
yeah,
have
I'm
her.
so lucky. Daughter is lucky to have me to put up with her incontinence. But I
Get it together, Ginger.
5 months, Jesus. Still? Again? This happened again.
Boats
Every
are
night.
Day. Every
They're like, Andrew, why don't you just get her diapers? She should learn. I'm not spending money on diapers.
I can enable this behavior.
Exactly.
So my daughter pooped, and my wife, we try to do things 50-50, you know, and it always evens out, you know. So I was like, oh, okay. She had done the last few on location diaper changes where it's a little more difficult, and you got to go to the car, you know, or get the bag, the portable stuff out. So I was like, I'll take her to the back of the car because there's no changing tables in this place. So I was like, I'll take her to the car and change her diaper. Like, I volunteered it, and she'd done the last few. And so then I guess while I was gone, my aunt was like, oh, you're so lucky, you know. And then Heidi was like, well, he's lucky. But I think that part of that is like my aunt, my mom, they come from a different generation where men weren't as willing or able to change diapers.
Yeah.
Or now it's expected a little bit more.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never understood that. Like, I mean, it's shit. Nobody wants it, but it's not like, I mean, I do know like, relatives of people where it's like, oh yeah, the dad never changed that diaper. All the kids grown up, he never changed a diaper. It's like,
how did they get away with it for so long? Dudes just for generations never touched a diaper, and not that long ago. And it's like, I don't understand. What was the rationale? I get if you were like never around, but if you're around, how do you get out of it? Like, I don't know how to do it. It takes 2 seconds to learn that you just.
They did it so badly. Like, I put it on her head. I shouldn't do this again. I'm terrible.
It's like when you load the dishwasher wrong, so no one ever asks you to do it. Maybe that was it. I don't know how dudes got away with it as long as we did, but yeah, it should be 50-50. It really makes no sense. It's hard to
preaching to the
otherwise.
choir. Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Middle Earth, where I think religion kind of kept it like, well, the man is the head of the family, and he's got brain thinking to do. The woman needs to do, the boopy ass work. That's woman's boopy ass. Men have brains, men.
I'm too busy thinking to change that.
Basically,
I'm sitting here with my pipe, doing a lot of thinking about our finances. I don't have time.
I have the souls of the family to consider. I'm sorry.
I don't smoke, and I was trying to act out a pipe, and I did through like the weed one and the cigarette one. It took me forever to get to pipe.
What is a pipe?
I was like, a pipe? That's not a pipe. I was looking
That's
at
a bong.
that.
Okay.
That's a bong. Okay, you're better at this than me.
I've smoked all kinds of things.
It brings us all the way around. Look at
That's
that.
right.
Well, I feel backed up. You guys get it. You understand me.
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is an easy backup. Do you guys ever have hard ones? Just like people come on, they're like, you know what? I just like killing people, and people are mad at me, and you're like, I back you up.
Well, sometimes
we hold our ground.
It happens. We try, but it does happen that we can't quite get there. It's on rare.
Yeah.
Sometimes with me and Johnny, sometimes we can't back each other up, but it's pretty rare. We usually are in the same. It makes for a riveting podcast when everyone agrees with each other.
According to Andrew's wife.
No, she it's a joke, but it's true. She was like, wait, so the show is you guys just try to agree?
You just avoid
like, no, there's more to it than that. Like, that's what it kind of sounds like.
No, it's two white guys that
Yes.
need support. Two white men who need support more than
It's a
white
hook.
men. So it's just
And they're straight.
Yeah.
Did I explain that part? And they're married. It's very unique. You don't understand.
You don't hear that very often. But.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Get
Do you
so
have
up.
something you want to plug?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
I want to. Yeah, I have.
You have all sorts of stuff, so plug away, please.
This is my podcast. It's called Kristin Knows Blank. I have a comedian on each week, and we talk about some topic that they know a whole lot about. And I play a trivia of 5 quick questions with them, and then we do a Mad Lib. And so that's every week. Andrew was on it a couple weeks ago talking about Wendy's, and we learned a lot.
That's what you know a lot about Wendy's. For all the shit you give me for my fast food love.
I know, but she asked me. It was actually very depressing because Kristin texted me before, and she was like, "What do you consider yourself an expert in?" I was like, "Oh God."
I said, "Pick 3 things."
You can't say comedy. Yeah, you can't say comedy because you have a lot of comedians on, of course, and then. So I said the Seahawks, but I was like, that's lame, football. And then I was like, Wendy's. I was like, oh, I sound like the dumbest guy alive.
We're talking about
Wendy's. God, I sound like Johnny. Jesus Christ.
But now I want to have Johnny on. Johnny, now you got to be a guest on because that's how these things work.
Johnny, you should do
Zelda. KFC.
Actually, I would love to talk to you about Zelda. So you got to come on and talk to me about Zelda.
You should go on and do Zelda.
We have not had a Zelda guest yet, so this would be really fun.
Oh, I'll do that.
All right, so this is going to happen. I'm going to put you on the calendar probably for next week. We're going to get this all worked out.
All right, I'm excited.
I don't let people sit. I don't let people sit with bookings because, you get guests. You got to grab them while they're fresh before they can make plans.
While they're hot.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Kristin.
Do you have any dates, like live dates coming up?
Oh yeah, that too.
I do. And I got to put my calendar back on my website because I took it down because of the pandemic. But I will be in Las Vegas headlining the Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM Grand. May 26th through the 31st. So get tickets to that. That's really fun. And then I got a couple dates more in the summer. But right now I'm just plugging the Vegas date because it's
great club.
it's
Go
my
to
favorite.
Vegas. Eat it.
Go to
Cool.
Vegas. It's great.
Eat at the buffet. Get the vaccine and go to the buffet. Who cares?
Strip clubs. There's strip clubs. The girl in a mask and a full hazmat
Really?
suit will sit on your lap.
Really stress test that Moderna.
That's right.
Get that second shot. If you're going to go to the strip club, get that second shot for the love of God. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Remember to leave a 5-star review and something you need backup on your life, and we'll talk about it on the show. And I don't know. I think that's it. Anything else, Johnny?
No,
All
I
right.
think that's good. We'll see you next week on
The Cavalry.
Cavalry.